Woo! Rwanda, I had no idea how amazing the people are in your country, and specifically Kigali. I had no idea about the food, the culture, your amazing structure, your infrastructure, the reason why the BAL said we want to have our inaugural season here in Kigali, and I'm going to take you around in this episode and show you Kigali in probably a way that you've never seen. Let's get it. Come ride with the boy. Welcome to Rwanda, baby. Rwanda exceeded every expectation that I had. And it shows you when you have the right leadership in 20 years, what's truly possible. Especially when you have the discipline and the vision that Rwanda has. So this episode is about the amazing city of Kigali, the main place that people fly into when they visit Rwanda. And so part two, we discover and explore a lot of the nature that Rwanda has. You know, from the amazing mountains where we got to see the silverback gorillas. What a unbelievable experience. When we were doing some of the national parks where we saw elephants. Well, I'm not gonna spoil all of the surprises. Just make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss that in the next episode. So let's talk about getting to Rwanda. So we had a connecting flight. That was on Qatar Airways. A little bit more on that later, but now let's enjoy my flight on Rwanda Air, which is an amazing airline as well. And they actually just opened up a new route from Doha to Qatar. So you actually have more options now, and they're opening up more flights to all around the world. And one of the things I really appreciated about Rwanda Air is they play to world standards. They did not just say, we're gonna be the best African airline. They're like, we are playing for world standards, and they actually hit the mark. Just landed in Rwanda. It feels so good to be back on the continent. Oh, and the weather is amazing right now. It feels good. I want to break down some of the amazing facts that I had no idea about. They have some of the most reliable and consistent internet on the phone available. The fastest that I've used anywhere. So most people think Africa is all hot. That is not the case. This reminded me of Medellin, where it was a city of eternal spring. It was the kind of weather where you actually don't have to think about it. It's just perfect. It's also rated one of the cleanest countries, not just in Africa, but in the world. Accommodations are a major part of anyone's trip, and I want to give you game if you're spending $50 a night in Kigali, or you might be spending $200 a night, or you might be that big boss and you're spending $2,000 a night. I'm gonna show you how you can get down with whatever budget that you have. The Serena brand of hotels have so many hotels all over Africa. This was actually the first 5-star property in Kigali, and you have everything from a regular room all the way up to a presidential. They have the Turkish spa, and so many other things that you can go and enjoy. They do these Sunday brunches that are a complete vibe. So if you wanna eat true African food options, this is one of the best places that you can stay and dine at. And they're in the best and most luxurious and secure area of Kigali. It's also where I conducted interviews with some of the most respected thought leaders within the country, like Joseph Baroni. He has one of the biggest tour companies in Rwanda. Also, an amazing hotel that you're gonna see in our next episode when we go outside of the city. Truly remarkable. Also, Ivan Makalo, who is CEO of Rwanda Air. Another really inspiring thing is literally 56% of CEO positions are women within Rwanda.
I think Rwanda is the best place to be a woman, actually. Our president is the chief feminist, and he really puts women forward, but demands results as well. So you have a lot of, that's why Rwanda has the highest representation of women in parliament, 61%. Our cabinet is over 50% women, and you see that even in private sector, a lot of the CEOs of the big banks, etc., are women. So it's really an exciting country to be a woman.
Now you might want to try a Western brand, right? A 2-minute walk away from there is the Marriott. And it's clean, it's modern. You know, it's not a mind-blowing hotel, but it's a super solid hotel. And I will say that there is room for an incredible hotel in Rwanda, and I know that people would pay. Some of the team stayed at the Rose Guard Apartments for a few nights, and that was $150 a night, like I said, for a 3-bedroom. It was clean, a nice building, in a very secure neighborhood. And if you want to stay long-term, here are the few of the options that you have. So you're about to see what $3,000 a month gets you in Kigali. So it's a 2-bedroom apartment. It's a serviced apartment. And so that means they clean daily, take care of everything. You got internet included. Basically everything that you need to do is there, furniture, all that good stuff. And then here's another option if you're looking to stay long-term and you want more space.
The asking rental now on this property is $5,000 a month, fully furnished. Sell price, $500K upwards, about 900 square meters. It's upscale.
And so I want to talk about transportation. You can get like a really nice SUV or this kind of conversion van with the driver for the day for anywhere from about $150 to $200, give or take. And then also, if you want to use the app where it's just a couple dollars if you're taking like a 10-minute ride, kind of like an Uber app, download it and then they pick you up. At the time of using it, it was all right. I'm not gonna lie to you and say it was the best thing and it was as reliable as Uber, but it was the best thing available at that time. And then at the time of release, if there's something better, I'll make sure to list that as well. So there's always two sides to a story. Someone can see the exact same thing and have a different story. But then there's a lot of times when people picture Africa, they have a one-sided narrative that Western media often shows. And so in this mini documentary today, I want to show you the other side of Africa, specifically Kigali, Rwanda. For example, when you're walking into a steakhouse here and you might walk up and they show you the board and you see the different kind of cuts. You're like, oh, do you want the filet mignon? Right? And there's a lot of people, even in the West, that have never had that type of experience. Or walking into another restaurant and you walk in and then you see the chef has literally left the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia to have this amazing opportunity in Kigali. And then as I'm literally walking out, I see West Eden leaving, and he's not there to do a safari, he's there to tackle business. And if you don't know who West Eden is, look up the Milwaukee Bucks. It's one of those places where you don't have to jump through hoops, you're trying to pay off people to do this. No, it's just a structured place to do business.
Rwanda is the second easiest place to do business in Africa, right after Mauritius. Rwanda is the 38th easiest place to do business in the world. So we rank among the top 40 easiest places to do business in the world. It hasn't always been like that. It's been a result of a lot of efforts from the government and the private sector to reform how business is doing and to continuously make it easy and easier to do business. In fact, every year, as part of my performance contract, and I have to sign a performance contract with the president of the country every year, all ministers do that, heads of institutions do that, mayors do that. We have to sign a performance contract, and every year I have to show how the organization that I lead is going to be facilitating businesses to do better, even more.
So this trip was a dream come true. And I was invited by the NBA to be a part of the inaugural BAL launch. And that stands for Basketball Africa League. And this event, this spectacle, whatever you want to call it, was so much greater than I could ever imagine. And I remember when Manuel was like, so he is the VP of the BAL, said, yo, brother, this is so much bigger than basketball. This is truly a league about Africa. We're not here to take, we're here to add. So we're pulling up to the arena. You can feel the energy, people walking in. So it's the River Hoopers versus the Patriots today, the inaugural game. The BAL does everything world class, like A1. And there was no doubt the reason that they picked Rwanda to launch their billion-dollar league. And the stadium is easily one of the best stadiums I've ever been to. I was sharing a suite with my man from Tanzania, Omi Dimpos, and my other guy from Naija, Basket Mouth for one game. And it was a really emotional time, right? Because so many people have been fighting for years for this league to become a reality with basketball without borders, right? And then you've got Amadou, you got Manuel, you got Luol, Pops, Benny, Masai, Matumbo. For me, I really just came into the picture the last 3 or 4 years, but they've been really on this for over a decade. As many of you know, I'm a big Cole fan. I've been a Cole since he had like 5,000 followers on Twitter. And so, he was playing in the league and that brought a lot of light to the league as well. So one thing about life is I can show you better than I can tell you. Come vibe with the boy.
Bad man.
One of the most beautiful things about Rwanda and the people was their willingness to show me their country. Like, no, I have to take you around.
Hi guys, this is Nicole. Today I'm rolling with Jabril and the entire Passport Heavy team, and I'm gonna show them all of the hot spots of Kigali that they don't know yet.
And so for Nicole, she's like, you cannot say that you came to Rwanda without eating at a local spot. And so she took us to one of her favorite spots, and I loved it because there's nothing better than feeling the culture and seeing and eating without like all the glitz and the glamour all the time. And I knew Nicole was a real one, and I could get down with her when she ate with her hands. And then, next thing, Ant's really enjoying himself, and he's like, man, this is the best beer I've ever had.
This beer, I should call it liquid gold, because it basically is liquid gold. It's called Virunga Gold. It might be the most incredible beer I've ever had. Like, I'm a British man, love my beer. I tried this, and it's different. I love this beer.
And one thing I told her is I must get some clothing from Rwanda. She took me to the House of Tayo, where I met this amazing brother, Matthew.
Fashion for me is a big form of self-expression, and I think it's the same for many people here based in Kigali. The fashion scene is one that is growing, and I'm happy to be a part of this birth of fashion as an industry. It's a very exciting time for creatives, both in fashion and creatives as a whole in the city.
So one of the beautiful things about getting a bespoke suit, any custom work, is you get to have it exactly how you want it. So right now I came back for my fitting, and so I wanted to have it, a little bit tighter. So it just basically has that real pristine fit. And so in the US, when you start getting custom suits, you're starting at like 2 racks. Here, let's just say your money goes a little bit further, but I would say I'm more inspired to wear this than anything. It's like, for me, it feels like I get to take art away back home when I get custom pieces. And then she also brought us to Thousand Hill Distillery. And the crazy thing is I actually bought 4 bottles at the National Park before I even knew who they were. I just loved the design, and I was like, I love that it was built in Rwanda. So I was like, I wanted to support the local economy. And it was an honor to actually go meet the owners. And they have a beautiful place up in the hills about 30 minutes away from Kigali. And you can have lunch there, you can have cocktails, you can have some coffee with a view. It's easily worth the trip. And then she also took me to another amazing art gallery. So Neo Art Center was a whole experience as well. Man, this brother I still talk to today. We always chop it up on Instagram. And his energy was so infectious. And when I started to learn more about what he was up to, I realized about 40% of his art sales go to his foundation with helping the kids in the neighborhood and so many other things. I'll drop a link below if you want to find out more about it. And another crazy thing, like I said, Cole was in town, and rumor has it, he picked up an art piece from here, a couple. So one of my favorite experiences while in Kigali was eating. And I said that word experiences for a reason, because they were that and more. One of the spots, I could definitely feel like I could walk in and see Rihanna. The other spot I could definitely see Hov and Beyonce sipping a glass of champagne. And I want y'all to guess in the comments which is which. So Inca Steakhouse, the #1 steakhouse in Rwanda, where you drive up in the hills, the entrance sets the mood, and you can tell they care just as much about the food as they do as the aura that they've created. And the beautiful thing about this spot is you could drink a beer or you could pop a dollar bomb and nobody would blink an eye. Both fit the setting. You can get the lamb shank, which is incredible. If you don't know me, you know I like old fashioned and lamb shanks. And you'll never be surprised with anyone that you see there. And I can't say enough about the amazing owner, Nicole. And the prices at Inca Steakhouse are incredible. I actually thought it was gonna be more expensive. And then you can go there for the lunch vibe where it's a little bit more relaxed, or at dinner time, you know, you go there grown and sexy and it's a whole mood. And then there's Choose Kigali. As soon as you walk through the doors, you literally walk into an art gallery. I'm like, what the hell is this place? And this is where legit billionaires and heavy millionaires come to buy art in Rwanda. It's the #1 art gallery in Rwanda. I will just say, you know what your budget does, because those art pieces, I mean, they start in the 5 figures. Then when you finally reach the dining area, you realize how intimate it is. And I decided to host actually a couple dinners there, and it's really the details that matters here. You got Chef Billy that is creating these amazing dishes, which he actually switches up every single day. And so not only do they look like art, but they taste exquisite as well. I also gotta talk about the genius behind this whole project, Emmanuel and his brothers. He is an artist in every sense of the word.
Choose Kigali is about experientials, it's about art, it's about the moving future for Rwanda, basically.
And a lot of times when people are dining here, they rent out the whole place because it's intimate. I know the NBA has rented out a few times. Pretty much diplomatic people, presidents, rich families, or people have brunches there, and a few nights a week that you'll open it up for the general public where you can have a reservation. I won't even lie though. Of the 3 times I went there, I didn't have a bill less than 4 figures. Granted, I was paying for a few people while I was there. And that's another thing. People always think that I get everything for free. No, I was paying for these meals. We ate at so many different spots, low end and high end. But I've been talking for a while, so Yuri, vibe out and show them some of these places that we ate at. Now this is what you call fine dining. I mean, look at it. It just look expensive. So one of my favorite things I did was when we went up to visit in the hills at Fazenda. It was beautiful. They had this place that just seems majestic. And you can enjoy fresh juice, wine with a view. And then they even have bow and arrows, horse riding, which was so nice. And you can tell that they were well taken care of. But my favorite thing was the ATVs, because we really got to explore the local neighborhoods. There's a sense of pride that I could see in like every Rwandan that I met.
One of the best government leadership that I've experienced anywhere I've been. So I would give them, full credit for making the country work, for making the country so safe for the population of Rwanda, for people who live here, and for the visitors.
For me, it was, I had moved back home so many times and kept leaving. I hadn't found my space. So I first came back, and because I was a lawyer, so I first came back and worked in the justice system for a while, and then moved away again, but came back, moved to West Africa. So when we were here, in 2010, when we started talking about how we didn't see a lot of quality content in the country, visually and even written quality content. And we just joined the East African community, and so we were like, listen, we have Kenya and Uganda here now, we need to step up our game. The conclusion was we wanted to create an entity, we didn't know what it was, but that changed what the world sees when they Google Rwanda. Because like you said, at the time in Google Images, it was just guerrillas and genocide. Mm-hmm. And there's so many other stories. But it was literally the whole first, second, third page was just that. The viewpoint was always a foreign viewpoint. Yeah. Foreign journalists, foreign photojournalists. We're never looking for the good story. Yeah. Because the story that sells is the sad stories and the tragedy. Yeah. So there was so much that kind of compelled us, but we didn't know what to turn that into. But that's what made me want to stay. Because I said, okay, now I see what I'm supposed to do here. I'm supposed to tell these stories, or at least create a team that can tell these stories, or something like that.
Sagara, Kimi Sagara, Kimi Sagara.
And that's where we at right now. We're about to do a mural.
Yeah, big
part of Rwandan culture is milk. Many places around the world, maybe milk and tea, but here they've literally got more milk bars than actual bars. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's reality.
Kigali specifically to learn about how cows and milk are very important in Rwandan culture. In Rwandan culture, milk is considered as a very important drink because we offer it to visitors as a welcoming drink. In the Western world, you may find people offering a cup of coffee, glass of wine to visitors. Here they will offer you a cup of milk.
You know your boy gotta stay fresh every city he goes. About to get my haircut, so I've had a haircut twice while I've been here. And haircut is only $2 for hair and beard. Where the value at? And it's dope, man. We about to go see the link, my boy. There are so many more amazing facts, but I'm just gonna leave you with this next one, is the new airport that is coming to town. It's a $1.5 billion airport, and the country is super excited about it. Not just the country, but so many nations around the world, because this is likely going to be the new hub of East Africa. So I'm currently living in Bali, Indonesia. Highly recommended as well. I love this place. But when going to Rwanda, the best flight was to stop in Dubai, flowing on Qatar Airways, and then taking a direct flight from Dubai to Kigali, Rwanda. So that's exactly what we did. So Qatar Airways arguably has the best business class in the entire world, better than a lot of first class experiences that I've had. Probably the best flying experience of my life, because I got to fly with my entire squad, and I saw how their eyes opened when flying business class. Because once you start flying business, there's no way that you want to go to the back of the plane. And I don't say that in an egotistical way, it's just that your mind starts expanding. What do I got to do to keep experiencing these type of things? And so when you get on, it's the service, right? When you're checking in, everyone is so friendly, the lines are short, so you don't have to get to the airport, the recommended 2 hours before. And then when you're passing and you're waiting for your flight, you get to wait in these lounges that seem something out of a movie. They literally had lamb shank behind. You can get massages, all different types of things before you're waiting for your flight. Now let's talk about when you actually get on your Qatar flight. The experience is like nothing else on earth. From the lay flat seats, to the food, to the restrooms, to the flight attendants that are always smiling. If you want a full can of Coke, they're gonna give you a full can of Coke. There's none of these little mini can of Coke, right? Like everything is amazing. We literally had an 8-hour flight, and I was like, yo, I'm not ready to get off. I could have easily done another 5 hours. That's how magical that experience was. And I'm aware not everyone has the budget to fly business. I've flown more economy in my life than business, but in the more recent years, my businesses have started to take off and I get to indulge in things like this. And I also use my business card, my Amex, and so I get to use points towards flight, so it's been easier than ever. I'm actually have a whole new channel where we break down flights, hotel reviews, flight reviews, credit card hacking, and how you can fly easier and make the most of your money. I gotta say, this trip was truly life-changing for me for the reasons of I didn't really know this standard of living was possible. right? I know good standards of living were possible in Africa, but the electricity, they're saying by 2024, they want to have every Rwandan with stable electricity. That's not a normal thing within Africa if I just keep it real, right? And then also the standard of living, how the economy has gone up and like the average, GDP per person is over $800 now. How organized the country is, how safe, how clean it is. It's just giving me so much inspiration for other nations once the leadership steps up in these places. But I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so excited to come back to Rwanda, and I got to give a big shout out to the BAL for inviting us. We had an incredible time. Big shout out to that man behind the camera, Mr. Bandana Yuri, for shooting and editing this video. And make sure you check us out on Instagram because he has a lot of cool stuff to come. Yes, he's cool with the big cameras, but he be doing some madness with his mobile phone. What's that? They call it the iPhone. Yeah, the iPhone, right? And also big shout out to Ant. He helped shoot a lot of this video as well. And then shout out to Talia. She helped put together a lot of this video. Major shout out to Mr. Isaiah McNeil, who always laces these videos with the most amazing scores. Thank you for Rwanda for having such an amazing country, and everyone who supports us. Take care.
It's too good.
Yo, that ain't no joke. Yo, the plate did a backflip.
Alright.
I'm meant to do backflips, not plates.
Allons-y.
Okay.
Oh God, Gina, I told you that.
I'm out with the gorillas right now, as you can see. But, man. Yo, this is insane.